Chochaku, because real men don't need toys to transform, according to the writers, that is. Hello and welcome to KamenRider Blackman. Happy Friday, everyone. I hope you're all excited. I know I am, but that's just because I woke up, at 10 in the morning. But it put me in a better mood. Plus, I woke up around 6 and I had nothing to do today. Today's my day off. But anyway, today's review, it is the very first Metal Hero show, Uchuu Keiji Gavan, or Space Sheriff Gavan, whatever you want to call it. Uchuu Keiji just translates to Space Sheriff in English. But, Uchuu Keiji Gavan, this has been the shortest time I have ever binged a show. I watched everything in 1 week. I started the show on a Thursday, then I ended it a couple of days on a Tuesday. I was super surprised when I started to hit the 20s going on Saturday and Sunday. Wow, alright. And clearly the reason why I'm doing this show now is to honor the passing of the late Kenji Ohba. And yeah, I started this show on the day I got the news that he passed. It was... Kenji Ohba really seems like one of those people where right now would be too soon for him. Kind of like with Jason David Frank. But watching this show, it honestly helped. Were we all grieving and mourning? Yes, but watching this show was a good way to celebrate his life and his career. Because Kenji Ohba, he was just so full of life. And I can tell just from watching him, either in this show or the cameos he made in Gokaiger, especially in the Gokaiger Gavan team-up. It's just, watching this show, not only was this a good way to lift me up, because to celebrate a man's life, but also, this was still entertaining, and I needed a moment to think to myself, okay, do I think or feel this way because of a man's passing, or is this show genuinely good? I gave it a day or two later, and I was enjoying what I was watching. And so, with that said, before getting into the review, one quick note about Gavan. It's that not just this show, but the Metal Heroes franchise in general was meant to run alongside Super Sentai and actually replace Ultraman and KamenRider. Kind of interesting how the shoe's on the other foot now, since it's Super Sentai that's on hiatus. And it's, I don't want to say Metal Heroes, but Project Red taking over and running alongside KamenRider. But back then, let's see here, Ultraman and KamenRider were relevant and, more well-known franchises, but the two shows at the time, I believe, were Ultraman 80 and KamenRider Super 1. And both those shows did not do well viewership-wise. So Toei wanted something, fresh to run alongside Super Sentai that was still new at the time. And so, that's that interesting tidbit. I believe Gavan is also named after a French actor too, but I can't remember the name. Whatever it is, I'll most likely involve it in editing. But, now for the review. We're going to be doing this show in a good, bad, in the middle style format. Honestly, because I feel like that kind of fits this show the best. Because I did take notes from watching this show, what happens in this episode and whatever other important episodes. But as time went along, the more I took notes for what I liked and what I didn't like and what I thought was meh, it filled out a lot more. And honestly, I feel like just having that would make this video a lot longer as opposed to, like, honest to God, when I took notes on to do my usual format of going over the story, it goes on for like 5 pages, which is surprising. So I figured for you guys and for myself, like, let's go over what was good, what was bad, and what was in the middle. Because this show, overall, I'll say, I do enjoy this show, but there are some faults with it. And we're going to go over them now. And so, starting off with the good, this show's musical score. Just to start off first with the opening, this is a dope opening. It's really funky and action-packed, and I love it. Kind of like how Go Green Ranger Go would be Jason David Frank's personal theme song. I definitely believe this song would be Kenji Ohba's personal theme song because it goes into detail and description about Gavan's character and it goes into such description about our protagonist. But while we're at it, it also just talks about having courage and what to do with it. This is dope. And oh my god, there are insert songs in this show that I love. Admittedly enough, this is actually an interesting detail. Like, I feel like the music in this show pays attention to the show tonally because there are action-packed songs and there are quiet songs. And that's actually pretty unique. Not that this is particularly a quiet or, need I say, somber show, but there are somber moments that do fit pretty well. My favorite insert song has to be, do 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 giran da na 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 na. I went to YouTube to listen to this on my free time. It's such a beat, and hearing that song play as soon as the Electric Star Beast Dole comes down, you know the fight was going to be more dope because of the music on the background. I also love that one line, two lines in the middle, which were partly said in Japanese, then in English. They were like, destroy the double man, da 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 da, crush the monster. It's like Double Man and Monster were English, but I kind of wish both those lines were in English because they were just part Japanese then English. But it's still such a beat. It's, oh my god. 80s Toku music was such a vibe. There's this show, KamenRider Super One, Denzi Man, Flash Man, what else? Changeman. Like, those shows had songs that were such a vibe. Oh yeah, and this show also does have an ending theme song. Once again, it was a quiet song, but I honestly didn't listen to it that much because I wanted to just go to the next episode. But from what I have heard, not bad, pretty fine. Oh, and another favorite insert song I have is, I really need to look at the names for these, but I did not. I just went by the first lines. It was Tensou, ba Tensou, da da, Kombatsu. That eventually goes like da 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 Gava da da da. Watching, oh my god, that's another song that was a straight banger. It's so amazing. That song is great because it's so hyped and you just want to get going. And so, that's the show's musical score. Let's get into the suit. I love this suit. This suit is 40 years old, and it's still timeless. Anytime I see this suit in modern day, I still get the wrong impression that it came out this year. Shoot, literally put this next to Gavan Infinity. you would still think it came out like this year. Like, holy fuck, it's so amazing. Gavan's like suit, it's so nice, and when the eyes light up, it's like shit's getting done. It's so cool. Now, I guess while we're talking about Gavan's suit, we might as well talk about his vehicles too. Those are. There's some that I like them, but I would think I'm gaga over them. Like, for example, he has a flying tank, the Gavion, that comes with a drill tank inside of it. It's not bad. It's a flying tank. I kind of wish he used it to, like, kill a monster more often. But it's not a bad looking tank. The Electric Star Beast Dole, on the other hand, it looks cool, but the one nitpick with it is it's kind of fat. like it has a bit of a stomach. It's because it's the ship part of it for when it disconnects from Gavan's personal ship, and then it extends out for the tail, then the neck and head of the dragon. But yeah, it's a little chunky. Well, and I always say like a little chunky, man, because come on, let's be real. Most dragons are more slim, if that means anything. Oh my god, what am I doing? I'm body shaming a freaking mech that could light me on fire. It's like, I don't mean to. Like, I still think it looks nice. That's just my one nitpick. Because, shoot, if they were going to do, like, a dragon spaceship, having it that way is, like, fine. It's just that it's the ship part in the middle that's just that's just bulky and not slim. Now, while we're at it, too, with Dole, it does look awesome. I kind of wished it was used more to defeat monsters, because it only has, like, the two solid moves, like the Dole Fire, where it will light you on fire, and the Dole Laser, where it just shoots lasers at you. But other moves that it has don't really do anything. Like, it would have been nicer for it to see a bit more finishers, especially since it's a dragon spaceship. Honestly, I think when there had to be, like, puppets, that had to be, like, working a puppet for it to, like, do what it does. So maybe it was limiting, who knows. But the last of Gavan's vehicles is his motorcycle, the Siberian. It's not terrible, but honestly, the more I look at it, the more I'm a bit mixed on it. On one hand, it's not that bad. On the other hand, I feel like it's a little too cylindrical, because it's a motorcycle mixed with a surfboard. So it has that bulk, like, you see, like, it looks like as if you're starting to make a triangle, and then you stop to make a circle. It's weirdly cylindrical like that, but I think, yeah, it's the surfboard portion. It's like, for whatever reason, when looking at this, I kind of compare it to Metalder's motorcycle, which was a motorcycle with a sidecar attached to it. Like, it needed, like, for the surfboard portion, it could have used a bit more of a boxy feel that way. And so, that's that for Gavan's vehicles, and for his suit. Honestly, let's just talk about the Retsu now. Retsu being Gavan's Earth persona. Retsu, or Gavan, however you want to call him, not a bad character. He's pretty interesting. He's pretty heartfelt. He gives big bro energy, because he's just such a nice guy. He's such a people person. Friends with everyone. Friends with the side characters. Friends with the kids at his job at that ranch club. And what helps was that it's Kenji Ohba, and Kenji Ohba he was that cool dude. But yeah, his story, like, and Retsu's story about wanting to find his father, and just eventually reuniting with him, it was great. And even before then, his interactions with everyone was so amazing, especially with Mimi. Just, that's just great. That's another thing I'll get into in a bit. And so, aside from Retsu, the stunt choreography and the fight choreography, watching Kenji Ohba fight in this show, and I'm talking about out of suit first, is the best thing ever. It's so fast and fluid. I love every second of it and every move that he does. And that he did his own stunts at times. Like, it was so cool. It was so cool. Like, oof, my God. Just, it was so amazing. And shoot, did he even... And for the stunts, too, I loved seeing the action, the different locations, everything. Oh, my God. But the fight choreography, either out of suit or in suit... Oh my, it was all so entertaining. I was always satisfied whenever I watched a fight in this show. And so next, let's move on now to the Maku dimension. Another, that's in the good because I actually quite like the Maku dimension. I like how once we get there, everything is twisted and they do just enough to show that this is not the same place that we were. Like, if we're at a theme, like, say we were in, like, say that right now I'm in my kitchen and all of a sudden I get sent to a Maku space. I'm still in my kitchen, but the sky is, like, black and purple and dark out, and I have to fight for my life to get out of here. That's what the Maku dimension is like. It's twisted, and it's meant for, honestly, the enemies to get home turf advantage, since being there gives monsters, like, a power boost. So anything could go. Like, Gavan could be double-teamed, tripped up, overwhelmed with whatever. Hell, the monster of the episode could grow giant if it wanted to. It's literally like playing a video game, and you're going up against the final boss on hard level. It's just that out there. And that gives purpose for Gavan's vehicles, like Dole and the Gavion. But yeah, the Maku dimension, not bad. Like, it's not like Gavan could do anything to stop it. It's like, this is all happening back in the enemy base, where Don Horror commands for a Maku space to be created, and the monster of the week and Gavan would be sent there. And the only way he gets out of it is by beating the monster. So yeah, it's not like Gavan literally can't stop Don Horror because he's not physically there. So that's why we always go to the Maku dimension. While we're still on the good, episodes 13 and 14, the introduction of the double monsters. A scientist was threatened to build a machine for Maku to fuse the monsters of the week and the higher-up minions, the Double Men, together to create a new type of monster. And at the end of episodes 13 and 14, the bad guys keep the machine, so now we have a new type of Kaijin. That was the best thing ever, because one complaint I straight up had about the show at the time was that early on, like, Gavan first fights the monster of the episode, then when we get sent to the Maku dimension, he still fights the first monster of the episode, he kills it, and then he fights the Double Man. Like, it just got, it made fight scenes go on a little too long. Then you throw in that Dole fighting, like, jet fighters or whatnot, whatever, Kaijin, whatever, or Kaiju, or whichever, to give Dole a reason to be summoned down. Like, all that together, it made fight scenes go a little too long. And honestly, for a while, it made me think, why not just make the Double Men the monsters of the week, because they're the superior monsters. Especially since the monsters of the week were, at first, taken out by the laser Z-beam, which always never stuck at times, but then eventually it did, and I was like, how does that work? It's just inconsistent. So honestly, fusing both monsters together, that fixes everything. So now there's just one threat to focus on and not one after the other. Shoot, even if the monster like grows big or we have jet fighters flying down for Dole and Gavion, that's fine because after that bout, we could still get back to Gavan in one monster just for him to kill right there and then and actually give, well, satisfaction, a level of completion. Like being sent to the Maku dimension is this show's version of Make My Monster Grow. The day is saved when the monster, and just the one monster, blows up and is defeated. And I was like, good, we're done for the day. Just, finally, like, for the first 12 episodes, the show didn't have that satisfaction sense at the end. Because it was just one chore after one chore after one chore. But it's just now, thankfully, and kudos to the writers for this, they gave us that. The next thing that's in the good is the amount of cameos from toku actors in this show, whether they're main characters or guests of the week. Like, for example, the actor who played Barza from Zoo Ranger, he's in this show as Retsu's boss at the ranch. But while we're at it, Hiroshi Miyauchi actually makes an appearance for a 2-part episode as Space Sheriff Allen. That name alone, just Space Sheriff Allen. But yeah, Barza from Zoo Rangers in the show. We got Hiroshi Miyauchi. The commander is also Daria from Toei Spider-Man. And shoot, one of my favorite episodes, Machika Soga is the monster of the week, and she and Barza actually meet each other in the episode. So how crazy that these two got familiar with each other literally years before Zoo Ranger. That's just me. Last thing that's in the good are the other 3 main characters alongside Gavan. So first, there's Commander Quam and Marine. I liked them. They were a good help to have because they took actions when they needed to. Either it's deploying out to Earth themselves to actually help Retsu train or repair his suit, because that does happen in episodes. 2, regularly just giving further exposition for Gavan during a investigation into Maku. But yeah, they're not bad characters. I especially like Marine. Like, she was pretty nice. I actually think it was good for her to sub in for Mimi for a time, since Mimi had left the show temporarily to take care of her sick mother back on Planet Bird. Or at least that's the in-story explanation. In real life, I don't know why Mimi's actress had to take a break from the show, but she does come back in like the 3rd to last episode. But yeah, Marine actually subbing in for Mimi did good for her character, because it gives me more reason to like her. Like, because before then, of course, her appearances were a bit more sparse, which was good for her character. But seeing her more then, it was a good necessity. And besides, and now they didn't have to hire a new actress to like sub in for Mimi. They could have just called her up. Shoot, and in the last 3 episodes too, all 3 of them are together, which I'd rather have that more. And so, lastly, the best thing in the good, and she's my personal favorite character, Mimi. I love her character. While though she is a side character and small majority of her character is having a crush on Gavan, she was still a great help to have as an infiltrator, since she can turn into a parakeet, apparently. But yeah, she was always just a nice help to have, a nice presence to have too. And I honestly loved the focus episodes where she was the focus of the episode. Because there was one episode where she actually got over her crush on Gavan because she ended up liking this other guy, who, by the way, was Toei's Spider-Man in an episode. The cameos in this show, they're amazing. But yeah, Mimi got over her crush on Gavan and started liking, well, Spider-Man. But it turned out that it was a whole scheme for Maku to try to kill Retsu. That was a great episode. And honestly, really further there, I want to say could be a relationship because they both really do care about each other. There are times where they would go as like to the depths of the earth for each other, and you really see it in their acting. Like her and Gavan's like friendship, relationship, whatever you want, camaraderie, whatever you want to call it, I really enjoyed it. Like Mimi was really the heart of the show, and that says a lot. Okay, so that's everything in the good. Now moving on to the bad. Kojiro. I don't like him. Like, throughout watching this show, I didn't care about him. I never did. It's like, he's there to be... Well, for one, he's there for comic relief and to be Gavan's quirky friend who's not a child. Because of Gavan's an adult and he needs to have at least one adult friend. But not this guy who's just... I don't know, he's just... I have no reason to care about him. He's there to be silly and faint at times, but it's not funny. And it's like, ugh. Like, anytime I saw focus on him for just a second in an episode, I didn't care. Like, maybe my attention more would go to the plot of the episode than it would Kojiro, because for him as a character, I have no reason to like or sympathize. I just don't like him. He really just... He didn't bog the show for me down, but he was just to go away. So, another thing that's in the bad. Some episodes are terrible due to Maku's goals for the episode making, honest to God, no sense. And it's just, no. Some episodes are just, no. Like, for example, episode 18, I think, is this show's worst episode. Solely because of the bad guys in this episode. Their goal was to create, like, a time machine to go back in time to an underwater palace to steal all the jewels from it. It was dog shit terrible. And the monster of the episode 2 was just dumb. And considering how much he was wasting time and resources just to see this fictional princess or something, I don't know. Like, how come Hunter Killer or Don Horror could have just ordered that monster executed? Just God. God's honest truth. Like, episode 18 was this show's worst episode because how bad it was. The monster was also a creep too because it was abducting women, but just even more bad. Just But aside from that, like, another ridiculous episode, in my opinion. Okay, it's not. Let me see. I'm thinking of two right now. One is where Maku was trying to ruin Gavan's expectation. Well, no, not expectation. There was one episode where Maku wanted to ruin Gavan's reputation by spreading fake news because they tried to set up like Gavan kidnapping kids when it was really a monster of the week, and with those kids missing, people assume Gavan did it because they had hijacked a magazine article. My one complaint about that is that the kids were still kept alive, and if they break out, they would just say that, oh no, Gavan never kidnapped us. It was just Maku. But it's just, and all they did was just keep the kids hostage. Like, how long were they going to hold them hostage for? Like, that's the one episode where, what were they even doing? Like, Maku is more interesting when they're trying to kill Gavan and not ruin his reputation. Like, that was the waste of an episode. Another episode I was thinking about, it wasn't exactly bad, but Maku's whole goal was to steal a clean radiation system. What would they want with that? Like, I'll say it right now. The first 12 episodes are kind of rough. Like, they're a slow start to the show, but there are some plans where it's just, why would they need this? How does this further their plans down the line? It just didn't do anything. Like I said, just first 12 episodes, they're just, they're a little rough. And so, this is, pretty much, last thing I could think of for the bad is, there are concepts presented in this show that we don't really see go anywhere. Like, it would have been nice if some stuff was expanded upon more, but it doesn't. Like, for example, Hunter Killer is a former space sheriff. Him and Gavan's dad, Voicer, were actually both deployed to Earth together. What happened? What made Hunter Killer want to betray being a space sheriff? And what was their relationship like? Like, what was his fall from grace to make him want to side with Maku? Like, we don't know. Like Hunter Killer just dangles around that he knows Voicer, and he knows what could have happened to him, and he never shares that information, like, or at least at all during his run of the show, because eventually he tries to sabotage a scheme and then he gets exiled out into space. Then when we find Hunter Killer again, it's like two episodes before the show is over. So he's got nothing to lose. He's in police custody. He finally talks and then he dies. What an absolute waste. Like, we have this personal villain that could be more interesting and they just didn't do anything. And shoot, think about it. This show is 44 episodes, and about 77% of this show is filler. And I know, because I did the math. So when Hunter Killer leaves just to come back and die, we don't really know anything about him. Like, shoot, another interesting thing that kind of goes unexplored is Retsu's character. Like, Kenji Ohba really brings out Retsu's personality in the show. Like, he's one of those characters where he doesn't get a lot of development, but his performance saves the character. For as much as we see him reminisce about his childhood, there's something missing. What was the rest of his childhood like? His dad is from another planet, and his mom was from Earth. How did he meet? Like, when he came to Earth, like, for the first time, clearly, or was he out on assignment with Hunter Killer when he met his mom? Like, how did they meet? Like, what was Retsu's life like? Because his mom died when he was 6, and by sometime within that frame was when Voicer went missing. So, what was his childhood life like? How did he eventually get to Planet Bird? What further made him want to go out to be a space sheriff? Clearly his dad was his motivation, but what was his time like within training to become a space sheriff? All this is never answered or explained. It's just filler episode, monster of the week, and maybe something interesting will come up. It's like there was depth missing. We needed more of that. Shoot, why I like Mimi more as a character is while she gets some development too, it's at least something. And she has such a big heart that I can't ignore that. It's just, but for Gavan, I do like him, but it's like, we needed more depth to this character for just to like, because when Gavan eventually does meet his dad for the first time in like years, everything is so powerful, like the earth moves. Alright, but so, that's all I had to say for the bad. Now for the in the middle. Tsukiko. Yeah, this furthers what I was saying about stuff missing with Retsu's character. Tsukiko's debut episode was about, first off, it was about Hunter Killer revealing that he knows what happened to Voicer. But Tsukiko has met Voicer because of her dad. Like, Voicer is basically extended family. And one day, like, Hunter Killer or whoever from Maku kills Tsukiko's family. And with his dying breath, Tsukiko's dad's last words were, "Go find Voicer." So clearly she's met Voicer. She could tell Gavan anything he would about his dad. Like, but we don't get that. After her debut episode, she just becomes another side character on the same level as Kojiro and the grandfather and the grandkids, which we will get to. But it's like, there should have been more with her character. She does help out every now and then, but her appearances too are also pretty sparse. So it's like, she should feel more important to the main characters. Like, hell, Marine is more important to the main characters. And she showed up every now and then at first, until eventually being promoted to, well, a more of a main character for the rest of the show. But with Tsukiko, we don't get that. And we should, since her and Gavan are, well, extended cousins. And so, moving on now to more in the middle. The grandfather and the grandkids. So I mean, Gosuke, Barza, and his two grandchildren, Wakaba and Yoichi. They're there for Gavan to have his Earth personality, so that he can, I guess, further investigate Maku, and like, they serve that purpose. But on the other hand, why does he need a job? Like, anytime something with Maku comes up, he immediately drops work to go investigate. And the boss does notice, to the point where I'm surprised he has yet to have been fired throughout the show. But it's like, why does he even need a job? He doesn't have rent to pay or anything. Like, Gavan is literally out on Earth for assignment. Like, I would think he would be getting paid for his services. Like, I'm just being real. Like, yeah, you can have downtime and see what's about or what's happening, because Retsu, it's because Earth is so, because Retsu hasn't been to Earth since he was a child, so getting caught up on things, sure, but like, he already has a job as a space cop, so I would assume he's getting paid. Like, why does he need a job? And shoot, for the job that he does have, he gets paid pretty little because he's always ditching work for stuff. So it's like, as soon as he leaves, that's when his boss starts docking pay. It literally is. Shoot, there's actually an episode or two where Marine and Mimi actually cash in jewels that they have for money. So he's set for cash. Like, so why does he need a job? It's like the only purpose they serve is so that Gavan could get a step into Maku schemes of the week. But the characters, there's not much depth to them where there could have been. Shoot, literally in the final episode, all of the side characters are abducted and Gavan saves everyone, and that's the last we see of them. Like, they don't wonder why they were targeted by Maku or anything. They're just shoved away. Like, that's their part in the show. That's that. They're done. It's just, not really anything to them. It says something because Space Sheriff Gavan's like cameos, like in the last couple of episodes, they meant more than those characters. And the only reason he's there is to moonlight the next show, his show. But wow, it's just, ooh. With the side characters that I brought up, they're in the middle because they're not bad, but there's potential to them that kind of goes unfulfilled. Like, them at least figuring out that Retsu is Gavan could have been a shock, but no. The final episode has to be everyone together to celebrate that Maku is defeated, and then, once again, we have a new Space Sheriff to take over for next season. And trust me, I'll talk about the final episode in this show. But after that, or at least after this, let's now talk about words. So, next thing that's in the middle, did you see how fast Gavan's transformation was dialogue? Did it get old at times? Yes, but my one complaint about why it's in the middle is it tries to tell us that Retsu has to do his full choreography to transform into Gavan. And there are times where, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. Literally with his hands binded up together, or just something in one scene, either moving like hell, or falling to his doom to transform into Gavan. There's no way he had done the choreography that right there and then. And some episodes try to tell me that he does. Like, no, he doesn't. I will rewind to see for myself. Like, no, you cannot lie to me. They tried that multiple times. I'm like, alright, we get it. He's fast, but you don't have to exaggerate things. And so, my next thing that's in the middle, and it is an overall credit I will give this show. It takes a while for this show to get good. I want to say about the 20s or so is when this show starts to get a lot better. Because the episodes are a lot better, from the stories to the characters, and even the schemes that Maku pulls off. Like, the 20s is pretty much where this show starts to find its own footing. And so, next, the villains of this show. The space crime organization Maku. The only reason why they are in the middle is because I like the idea of our villains. They're all about spreading crime and anarchy. Maku is basically an organization of agents of chaos. My only complaint is that the villains aren't really much. Like, they're all flat characters. Like, going from least favorite to something, Don Horror is generic. He's the standard villain who just sits on his ass and does nothing the entire run of the show. And he's literally just elated to the wall. But it's like, he doesn't do anything. And it's just, no wonder Gavan killed him so easily. Shoot, the name of the final episode is Dawn Horror's Head. Like, what the fuck? But yeah, our main bad guy, does he look intimidating? Sure, but he's not, I don't know, he's just a blank slate. Shoot, I've already gone over Hunter Killer and all the potential he had, but that went nowhere. Like, he also didn't do much himself either. Shoot, Sandarva and Witch Kiba, they were honestly the most interesting that the villains got. Them being Dawn Horror's son and... How do I describe Kiba? Like, she is Sandarva's son? Well, no. Kiba is Sandarva's mother, which means her and Dawn Horror were a thing. They never extrapolate on that at all, because she's always defending their son to him. Like, we never really see just Kiba and Dawn Horror have a conversation about them. It's just, ugh. Sandarva himself, too, doesn't really... I don't know, like, he's not much. Like, the whole reason for his character is to replace Hunter Killer, and just to be a little more personal, being the main villain's son. But, I don't know, he didn't really do much either. He's willing to actually go toe-to-toe with Gavan at times, and that's about it. But aside from that, not much. Okay, so, next thing, the penultimate episodes. This is a fair complaint, but it doesn't ruin the show. But oh my god, how dare they? Like, how dare they? The last two episodes focus on Retsu finally finding his dad, who all this time was abducted and being tortured by Maku to get plans for a death ray. And yes, this is a fair complaint. Retsu and the show started to wonder about Hunter Killer's connection to Voicer back in, like, episode 11. And just to come back, just to finally touch on this topic again when the show's wrapping up, fuck you. Just, like, I love the work that you did, but fuck you, man. How dare you tease us just to pull this shit when the show's wrapping up. The only thank you I'll give you is that Mimi comes back, but aside from that, fuck you. Like, just fuck you, how dare you. A solid comparison to really make to this too is what happened in KamenRider Black years later. Like, before Shadow Moon is introduced, time and time again, we're told stories about Kotaro and Nobuhiko together so that we have a reason to care about Nobuhiko. Hell, him and Kotaro were both converted into cyborgs in, like, the first half of the show, like episodes 1 and 2. And shoot, when we see Nobuhiko again finally as Shadow Moon halfway through, you're horrified. Now, normally, I would get upset about revelations coming in too late to care, but I'm not. Like, Gavan and Voicer's reunion was so powerful, and it honest to God made me cry. When Gavan pulled out the pocket watch with the song in it for Voicer to recognize, and actually put together that that's his son, it was heartwarming. And just for their reunion to conclude with Voicer dying, succumbing to his injuries, it might as well have broke your heart. Just, oh my god. The last two episodes were just an emotional roller coaster. But yeah, for them to come literally as the show's ending, it, like I said, it does not ruin this show, but you wish more was like, you wish there was more investigating as opposed to Retsu just reminiscing. Okay, we're here. Now I'm going to talk about the final episode. This finale is pretty average. Like, tonally speaking, the story continues, but the show just stops. Like, that's the best way to describe it. Like, the story continues because a couple episodes before then, we are introduced to who would be Space Sheriff Gavan, and in the final episode, we see him and now as a fully fledged space sheriff, but he doesn't really do anything. Like, he shows up when Gavan's fighting Sandarva and Kiba, but he doesn't help out. He's just there to, once again, pretty much moonlight his own show that's coming after this. And yes, I do plan on reviewing Gavan at some point. Like, not after this, like, there's other stuff like the original KamenRider that I want to watch, like, before I get to Gavan. But yeah, the final episode is pretty simple. Don Horror finally says screw it and comes down to Earth himself to face Gavan, and no shock, he gets killed super easily. And after that, Gavan is promoted to a captain, and now Gavan is set to be stationed on Earth to protect it from whatever threat shows up in, like, Gavan. And, well, that's the show. That's the end of the show. Like, and it's the start of the Space Sheriff trilogy, because there's this show, then Gavan, and also Scheider. So, what a start to Metal Heroes. Not a bad finale. And overall, this show was great. Like, while going through the show, I thought it was going to be like B tier for me. But once they started to critique themselves, that's what drove this show to being A tier. Like, even if some stuff comes in too late to care, everything was so powerful that I ended up caring anyway. Like, I was still curious about what happened to Voicer and where he was. And I was still interested in, like, the bad guys, too. They pretty much stuck to their plans of wanting to cause anarchy on Earth. And they kept things pretty spot on, either by wanting to spread crime or just in general kill Gavan. And even our characters, well, the main characters at least, they were amazing. I loved everything with this show. Space Sheriff Gavan, or Uchuu Keiji Gavan, is definitely a show worth watching. Though I will admit, there are some flaws, so it's really going to be up to you. If you manage to get past, like, those first 12 episodes, then more power to you. But, yeah. So, that's the show. Honestly, what a way to celebrate Kenji Ohba. Like, this makes me want to watch Battle Fever J and Denzi Man because he's in both those shows, and I'm interested in the choreography that we might see from him there. But yeah, Kenji Ohba, thank you for everything that you've done. May you rest in peace. Well, that's the review. Thank you guys for watching. Please not forget to like, subscribe, share this video, and tell your friends about KamenRider Blackman. I'll see you guys next time.